Carefully unpack your Gilson wheelbarrow mixer. Make sure that you inspect the parts for any shipping damage or missing parts. If there are any missing or damaged parts, please contact Marshalltown Company's Customer Service Department. The next step is to assemble the frame. The parts needed for this step are clearly marked and individually packed in clear plastic bags. Slide the wheels onto the axle as shown. Next, slide the end of the axle through the frame side rail. Place the washer and nut on the axle. Then repeat for the other side. Tighten the axle nut and insert the cotter pin into the hole in the axle. Locate the parts for the front support beam. Position the front rail and insert bolts and place washers and nuts on the bolts. Tighten the bolts using a 13mm wrench and 13mm socket wrench. Locate the parts for the rear support beam and drum assembly. Attach the rear support beam and place the bolts. Next, attach the lock washer and nut to the underside of the bolt and tighten using a 16mm and 17mm wrench. The motor assembly is next. Locate the motor and parts bag labeled Parts for Guard and Motor. Position the motor against the frame rail and insert the bolt. You may need to support the motor with your knee or get someone to assist you by holding the motor in place. Insert the pulley gear shaft into the gear sleeve and attach the lock collar. Tighten the set screw with an Allen wrench. In the next step, we will attach the belt. With the belt installed now, tighten the bolts on the gear sleeve assembly. Make sure that the motor is lined up with the pulley, and then tighten the motor bolts. Make sure that there is plenty of tension on the belt. The motor may need to be adjusted to get the proper tension. Position the gear guard and belt guard on the frame. Insert the bolts and attach nuts. Once everything is in place, tighten bolts using a 13mm wrench and a 12mm socket wrench. Locate parts for the drum assembly. Place paddle mat on the paddle shaft and insert paddle into drum. Align the holes in the paddle with the holes in the drum. Place bolts into paddle and drum. Slide drum gear onto shaft and align the holes in the drum gear with the bolts. With everything aligned, thread nuts onto the bolts. You may need someone to assist you by holding the bolts while you attach the nuts. At this point, we need to tighten the drum bolts. Slide washer onto the shaft of the drum. Then, slide the whole drum assembly into shaft positioning sleeve on the frame. Slide the lock collar onto the drum shaft and tighten the set screw. Make sure the drum gear and pulley gear are aligned and interlocked. If they are not aligned, loosen the pulley gear. Adjust the gear and tighten the pulley assembly bolts. Slide the handlebar into the frame. Attach spring clip to the handle. Slide handle grips onto the handlebar. Before starting the mixer for the first time, be sure to grease the two shafts. Wheelbarrow mixer is now complete. Once everything is greased, plug in the mixer and start it up.